Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Not a Sheep podcast. My name is Narwhal. I'm here with Matt.
Let's go.
And we're also here with Cade.
Yo, what's up?
Cade, thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah,
we're
thanks
excited.
for having me.
Before we dive into talking about everything you do, because you do a lot of different, you do like everything, quite honestly.
Yeah, one or two things.
Yeah, so before we dive into all of that, we like to start each episode by asking everybody what they've been listening to. So oddly enough, I've been listening to, there's the song called Shady by this guy named King Co, who I don't even know, but it's featuring DK Metcalf, who is a wide receiver for the Seahawks.
So King Co's, he's a Seattle artist, obviously, but I know because I think Jermaine Curse was posting about him when he dropped his project. I haven't checked him out, but I recognize that name.
So DK Metcalf is oddly like a really talented rapper. I had low expectations, but I saw they posted a video of him like rapping his verse in their locker room after the game, and it's actually really good. It's called Shady by King Co featuring DK. And then also Isaiah Rashad has been like a name I've heard of for years, really,
right, yeah.
but I never listened to it, and I just found his single called Why Worry.
Okay.
And I don't know.
Is that new?
I don't even know, dude. To be honest with you, I have no clue, but that's the first Isaiah Rashad song Isaiah Rashad song I've heard, and I really liked it.
Yeah, he's like the underdog kind of guy of like Top Dog, like Kendrick's label. So like I've always heard about him, but I've never really gotten into his stuff.
Yeah. So what about you, Matt? What have you been listening to?
So I've been listening to Arizona Service's new single R.I.P. A little bit of the new Futuristic album, Futuristic. Levi Hinson dropped a single, J-Day. It's pretty dope.
Okay.
And Andy Mineo's new single, Jackson Pollock.
Okay,
I think that's how you say the name.
Oh, I haven't heard that one yet. Yeah.
It just came out like the other day.
I saw he was talking about like the painting and stuff.
Yeah. There's a dope video for it.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's pretty much it for me. What about you, Cade?
Oh, dude. Tame Impala's The Slow Rush album.
Oh,
right.
Tame Impala. Wait, is that a new album or is that one of his older ones?
It's his newest, but it's not like new. It's been
okay.
out like a while, I guess. But like I still just love it. Like I was vibing to it again the other day.
Yeah.
That was super good. I'm going back into like some of my punk phase, like listening to some stuff. Like I was like, I was playing some 41 greatest hits, like Fat Lip and all that stuff. Just I don't know. I just had to relive that stuff. And then Machine Gun Kelly.
I was gonna say,
bro, like his new album is actually really fire. Like it's like I was surprised. Like I was like, because I heard some of the stuff he was like doing before. He had like a single out or something, and he was doing stuff with like Travis Barker, and then all of a sudden he just comes out with this album, and I was like, oh shoot, I gotta listen to that.
Yeah.
So played it. I was like, this is just straight punk. This isn't rap anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it was super good. Like Bloody Valentine on there, super good. I was just like, I'm a drummer, so I just like all the drums of just punk stuff. I was like, yes, that's perfect.
Yeah. Well, he's always kind of seemed to be have one foot in the punk scene.
Yeah, like definitely like a punk influenced rapper. But we were talking about earlier, like tours he's done and stuff like that in the past, where it's like he's in hip hop, but he's drawing from like a lot of different cultures.
Yeah. I mean, and like I feel like punk and hip hop have a lot of like similarities. Like breaking rules. I mean, you even go back to like how hip hop was like big in the early days in New York and stuff, and like how what's the guy's name? He's got the long beard and everything. He did like Beastie Boys.
He's
huge.
I know you're talking about.
He's the producer guy.
Yeah,
He's got the words of wisdom these days.
He's like the CEO of like Def Jam or whatever now. He's like one of the big guys.
Made all that stuff. Why can't I remember his name?
He's one of the biggest names.
This is embarrassing.
Beastie Boys producer.
Beastie Boys.
I don't know. Like
it's so close to my mind. Rick Rubin.
I
got it. Rick Rubin. Yeah. So like he was just talking about like he came from the punk world. Yeah. And then he produces tons of hip hop and stuff too.
Yeah, I feel like
that stuff's crazy.
Beastie Boys, they don't really get talked about a whole lot with their influence in hip hop. I mean,
oh yeah, and they're so punk.
Yeah.
There's like a punk band that like people were like, yeah, let's just turn them into hip hop.
Yeah,
make huge.
it's like scene. People look at Machine Gun Kelly and they're like, oh, he's a new Eminem, but it's like not really. He's just he's like definitely coming from Beastie Boys inspiration more than like an Eminem. But yeah,
totally. And then I got one more guy I wanted to mention because I can't even remember how I found it. It was just random, but like I was on YouTube like listening to something. Maybe it was like the Machine Gun Kelly stuff, and then it popped up this guy named Kenny Hoopla. Has anybody heard of him?
I've heard of him. Yeah, okay. I don't know why though. Like I know
Kenny
the name.
Hoopla.
He's a big hoopla, bro.
Sounds like a lot of hoopla.
Yeah, right. No, like he's just like this guy just comes out of nowhere, just one dude, and apparently he just does this super like indie punky sound too.
Okay.
He's got this song. What was it called?
He does everything himself.
I don't know if he does everything himself or whatever. It's like if I was left dead on the highway or something. Like I don't know. It's like
sounds very punk.
Wait, sorry, what's his name? I'll look him
Kenny
up.
Hoopla.
Okay, how will I rest in peace if I'm buried?
Oh yeah, nothing
Same
but a
thing.
highway, but
That's
buried by the highway. I don't remember.
Equally as punk, but
Yeah.
770,000 monthly listeners.
Yeah,
Interesting.
he's huge
dope.
somehow. I was like, what the heck?
Yeah.
And like, I was watching this video and it's just him playing that song live. And it's just him, a drummer, and a guitarist, and they're just rocking, just straight
dope.
punk, dude.
You know, I actually the other day I binged a bunch of those NPR Tiny Desk performances.
Oh,
Have you
yeah.
guys seen those on
yeah.
YouTube?
Mm-hmm.
Some of those are
so
amazing.
awesome. And I don't know if you guys really know Hobo Johnson. but,
Yeah. No, I seen him. He's great, bro.
Well, yeah. So the reason I found him is because a couple years ago he submitted for like a contest hosted by the NPR or whatever, and that was his song Peach Scone that helped him blow up.
Gotcha,
but he ended up
yeah.
winning that contest.
Well, I remember that, yeah, because he's just in his backyard.
Yeah,
Right,
he was
yeah.
in his
Yeah,
backyard.
definitely.
And it's kind of funny is that song, Peach Scone, it was like a live performance, but then he ended up, when he blew up, he recorded a studio version, and all his fans are like no one likes the studio
It's
version
like,
as
nah,
much
the
as
live
the
one,
live
bro.
one.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
would kind of suck, because like it's way like better. It's made way better.
It's better quality.
Yeah,
It doesn't have the same like it factor.
Yeah, it doesn't have the same authenticity to
Yeah.
it.
Well, so I think that's what's so funny because his first album I think is called like The Rise of Hobo Johnson, and then his second album is called The Fall of Hobo Johnson,
Yeah.
which is hilarious by the way. That's his creative genius, bro. But he like the newest album, like the second one he made, is like so much more produced than the other one, and it's really good. But I don't think people vibed with it as much because it wasn't as much as that like.
It's not like what made him who he is.
Yeah.
That super raw, like just him in the backyard just screaming about
Yeah.
peach scones.
Yeah. He's just like got that like awkward vibe that's just like that's what he is, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's so weird because, like you said, it's by all standards, by any musical standard, it's a better like project.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah.
But a lot of people just feel like that's not what they want. They
Exactly.
don't want it to be like more well made. They just felt something about like the rawness to it.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, so moving on here.
All right.
Let's move on. Let's talk about you, Cade. Okay.
All right.
So before you came, like when we were figuring out who we wanted to get as our next guest, Matt was like telling me all about what you do and everything, and we obviously interviewed Not Alone, and you mixed their
Shout
whole
out Not
project,
Alone.
right?
Felt like a good transition, you know.
Yeah. So you mixed their project, but then I also found out like you have one single out.
Yep.
That's your song.
Yep.
But then you also are a drummer.
Yep.
And like you do it all. So
like you produce. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what like is your main passion, or what do you
How would
wanna,
you describe like yourself artistically?
Yeah.
It's like how would I describe my like
Like
how
what you do, I guess. Yeah.
Or
I
what
think
you
I
wanna
just
do.
make dope music. Like at the end of the day,
Okay.
like as the simplest way of putting it.
Yeah.
Like whatever I work on, I just try to make like something that like I want to vibe with, and like I always tell people like if I'm not like bobbing my head to it or something, like I don't want to be a part of it kind
Right.
of thing.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
because I am such a rhythm based person.
Yeah.
And everything I do, I'm like, bro, I gotta like, I want to go like this, or I'm always tapping on something, like just from a drummer background.
Yeah.
Like I want to make sure I move and like either physically from the rhythm, or I'm moved emotionally by like the art of it. So
Right.
I mean, I think what I do is I just add the funk, and I just add like like the little details that like making people's art into a reality. You know what I mean? That's what I love doing, because it's like I love working with other artists and being able to have like their idea and be like, oh man, like I vibe with that too, and then how we can kind of combine it and make it a reality between like what I'm thinking for it and what they want the vision to be in a
Yeah,
sense, and like
definitely.
help them to actually like get that vision into real life.
For
That's
sure.
something that I've always like, I don't know.
That's like what
desire to
producing
do.
is, though. It's like, because some people just see producing as like beat making, but it's like,
Yeah.
no, it's so much more than that. It can be, you can not make a single beat on an album and executive produce it and just like help get the idea started, help them have the right resources, and help the idea become a reality, like you said.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally, yeah. And there's so many different parts to producing these days that people don't understand. Like I mean, like what you just said, like it could be something where you're just like helping someone actually formulate the ideas, or whether you're just helping the actual logistics of things getting made. I mean, people think producing too is like also like mixing and mastering, but then you don't know all about the songwriting, and you don't even know all the psychology that goes into working with other artists. Like it's crazy. Like you have to play so many roles when you're a producer. Like you don't get away with anything. Like you have to do it all as a producer role.
So you don't really have a particular genre that you feel like you're in. You just whatever connects with you, you want to work on.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Like I've made so many weird stuff because, like I said, I'm a drummer. So like I started drumming from like punk and like got really into like post-hardcore and like metal music and like high school. And then I figured out I suck at drumming like post-hardcore. So I just like I couldn't do it. I was like, maybe I'll try something else. And I really vibed with like the rhythm of that. I started wanting to write my own songs. And as a drummer, like you don't have anything melodic you get to make. You only have like tones. Like you hit something like one way, it makes a sound. But if you hit it harder, maybe it sounds different. That's all you got. You got like levels of velocity.
Right. Yeah.
With like piano and guitar, you can do different kinds of like emotions just with different, whether it's buttons, whether it's strings or something like that. And I was just at this like frustrated point where I was like, okay, I can't like do enough music with just drums. Right. I want to be able to do more. So then I just got into producing, and I heard EDM music when Skrillex was really big, you know, and like dubstep and all that stuff. And I tried to make that and just got into it from there.
Yeah. Well, because I noticed your single that's out. What's it called again?
When do I?
I was playing it to him earlier, and it's like, I think it's cool because it's like, I don't even know how to describe it, but it's like EDM, but you also got like a guy rapping on it. It's like, it's everything. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just everything I like.
Yeah.
It was a vibe. Like literally what I like tried to do was I wrote that like original like chorus part. And first, I guess, like how everyone kind of starts, right? I got the voice memo on my phone of just the melody, the dun 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 dun. Like just, I had that for like literally like 3-4 months, and then I like started writing like the words to it when I was just like, you know, in my feelings one day or something. And then I was producing the Convent Bonfires album. Shout out Convent Bonfires. Yeah. They're great. They're a great like indie band. My friend Caleb, he's like the singer of that band. And he's a guy
from Seattle too.
Yeah, Seattle local. I mean, Kyle's from Minnesota, but Kyle lives here now, so they're Seattle.
Yeah.
But just was in the middle of like working on a song with them, and was talking to Caleb about the whole idea of this song, and was just like, hey, like, what do you think of this melody? And he just loved it, and he was just like, oh, bro, like, this is dope. Can I help write it? So we started writing it. And I was like, you want us to hop on the mic right now? He just hopped on the mic right there in that middle of that session, recorded the chorus for
that's dope.
that song, and it was dope.
Yeah, man.
Crazy. Yeah.
I don't know. For me, I'm really intrigued by what you do because I feel like, I don't know, it seems like a lot of people I talk to have a specific avenue that like their
they
specialty,
can like
sort of.
Be like, I'm a producer in this genre, and that's kind of it.
Yeah.
But
I've always been jealous of that stuff, though. Too.
Yeah. For the songs you want to release yourself, like your own music, do you want it to all be these EDM vibes that first one was, or do you
want to explore?
Do you just really want to do anything?
Bro. If you aren't like growing and like changing sound and elevating as an artist from project to project, it's like, what are you doing? Like, no offense to other people who wanted to stay in their lane, that's cool to them, but to me, I'm like, you listen to like some of the artists who's made it through so many different decades and stuff.
Kanye.
Like look at no album sounds the same there. He's continually changing hip hop, right? That's crazy. Or I think of one of my favorite rock bands like Mute Math, like they're just continually evolving into new stuff. And they were like, I mean, every album is totally different. Like my favorite album of theirs is like super like bluesy, kind of like this jam southern rock stuff. I don't know how to explain it. And then now they're like newer stuff like that Paul Meany, the main guy's working on, it's just like EDM, and it's just like tons of synth, and I don't understand it. I'm like, how do you like just get into these different worlds? But I don't know. I think you just vibe with something and a particular feeling, a particular sound, and you just have to like go after it. And so that's how I feel with my music. Where, like, when do I was just like, man, I'm super about this like swingy house music, like I love that, like kind of like, I don't know, like shuffly. So I just had to write a song with that.
Right. Yeah.
I had to get it out of my head. And then like these newer stuff I'm working on is just like it's super poppy, a lot of rap stuff, super jammy, like, because that's what I've been working on a bunch and what I just have been vibing with.
Yeah.
So.
Well, a huge part of that is probably comes down to collaboration. I feel like,
Yep.
I mean, it seems like you work with a bunch of different people. And Matt and I last episode were just talking about like,
if you're like collab, it'll bring you down an avenue you wouldn't even think to go down. Like
100%.
When someone else has ideas too, it's like, and then all of a sudden you're both in a lane where you didn't expect to be.
Yeah, I agree with that, because that's how I feel like a lot of my work kind of goes, is that like, I mean, that's why I like remixing too, is because somebody's got a dope song and I'm just like, I just want to put my twist on it. Like I want to like, I vibe to it. I have the song stuck in my head and then I keep just like singing the song, and then all of a sudden I'll get like this different rhythm or something. I'm like, dang, that's dope. Dang, I got to remix the song now.
Yeah.
So I just do it. Or like working with other artists. Like that's my whole goal with like my own personal music, like Cade Legat or whatever, is just to be able to like highlight other artists that I know, like that maybe they don't want to organize a whole project, a whole song or something. They just like making music, but are like way more talented than like, you know, the artists up there. I mean, no offense to them or anything, but just like some of these people like that are like just in their bedroom making music all day, like you never really get to hear them because they're just practicing all day.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And then I just want to find those people and be like, yo, you want to hop on a song with me? And they'll be like, oh yeah, sure. It's like, you know, they just want someone to organize it, right?
Yeah.
And not to say I'm like stealing their talent, but it's just like, I love that collaboration.
Yeah. You're the one who's kind of cultivating this. You're taking like a piece of greatness and cultivating it into like what it could be, you know?
Yeah,
100%.
I love electric guitars, and I've officially, I think I've decided I'm never gonna play electric guitar because I just don't want to figure it out. I just suck at it. It's not how my mind works. But I got so many friends who are just killer electric guitars. If you got
the resources, it's like I don't know, it's collaboration.
Exactly. So I'm like, hey, like you just hop on this track with me. So Sage and Noriel, I just hit him up and I was like, hey, can you do a guitar solo on When Do I? And he's like, yeah. And so he did, and he shredded it. It was so good, and then it like literally added so much to the song that it needed. And I was stoked on it. Like you should have seen me in the studio when we recorded it. I was like, whoa, whoa! I was so excited, bro. Just screaming.
Yeah. After we interviewed our friend Casman, for like our second episode ago. You know Casman too?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like she's one of those artists where she left, and I literally told Matt, I was like, dude, she is just so talented.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of like getting people to see, because there's some artists that I think like when they start, maybe they still need to like cultivate something a little bit,
right?
And they're not like fully there, but there's some artists who have like 1,000 followers,
they have the talent,
but like they got it. You know?
They just got to be like tapped into in a sense.
Know where to direct it.
Yeah. Exactly. Direct it. And so shout out Kaz, because I'm coming for you. We're gonna work together, okay?
Yeah, man.
Because I love Kaz. Like all the music she puts out. I mean, like online, she'll just be like singing stuff on her like Instagram all the time. I'm like, dang, bro, I want to just sample that. Like,
yeah, and you mixed her single, right?
Yeah, the Chase.
Oh, you did.
Chasing Dreams. Yeah, so I got to mix it, and that was super fun. So I've worked with her before, and I know how talented she is. So our schedules just have to line up to where we can make something dope together. Because like, yeah, she's one of those people where it's like she just needs like a producer. So I'm hoping someone like me, you know what I mean, where we just kind of like, you know, work together and just really get to have that like I get to help cultivate and like make her like songs a reality. Like, kind of, you know what I mean? Like formulate the details and like, you know, hit record, whatever it's got to be.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like it's so hard as an indie artist and like an unsigned artist who's trying to, you know, make ends meet and trying to figure out what you're doing in life, to then also like be an artist and have someone who's also trying to make it be like a producer. Like to have a duo is hard when it's neither of these people's full-time job. You know what I'm saying? In any creative field where it's like,
right,
I need you to make this, like, help me with this whole project. It's going to take months of our life, but like we're not going to make any money from it. I feel like it's such a hard thing to navigate if you can't afford to like pay someone. How are you going to make this project, you know?
Right. Yeah. It's complicated.
I just think it's hard with anything, because like for you, Matt, like I like making these music videos with you because like I believe in what you're trying to do, and I also have fun with it. But like, if you didn't know me, it'd probably be hard to find someone who's willing to like
100%
make these music videos
that is doing it because they believe in it. Like it's all like a, I don't know, like that's where kind of like I have an advantage over a lot of artists, is like I have like good relations with someone that's really good at making videos. A lot of people just have to hit up someone and pay a couple $100 to do a video.
Yeah.
Relationships are huge.
Yeah.
Like they're vital to like this career, right? And not as like people always think like, oh, so then I gotta get relationships, so I'm just gonna hit up people and I'm like gonna talk to them for like 5 minutes, and then I'm gonna ask like, oh, can you do all this for free? That's not how it works. When someone's like, yeah, they're trying to make it their job and everything, like, but it's these
bringing value to each other.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's like Kenny Beats. I saw was talking about like his whole team, like his team he started when he was like a nobody. Like none of them do the same stuff. Like he's the producer. There's one guy that does video, one guy does photography, one guy does graphic design, and they were all like together. We can be this huge force and grow together. But like that's going to be way more effective than just trying to like do like freelance work.
Yeah. Well, one of my favorite artists for the last couple of years, his name is Cal Scrooby, and he's an independent artist, but he's always said, like, you guys won't find someone that has like a better like crew for like specifically he was talking in terms of music videos. He's like, my crew that I've been with since the beginning, we've cultivated this group of guys that are like insane video people, insane like motion designers and all this stuff. And he's like, that's such an advantage for him, because any other indie artist of his size wouldn't have these types of visuals that he has if he didn't have this like crew that he has such a good relationship with.
Yeah, his videos are crazy.
But
speaking of full-time jobs, I didn't mean to cut you off, but that was a good way to transition.
No, that's what I was going to ask him about.
Dope.
So
yes,
Matt told me you've recently made the transition to now try to do music full time.
Yeah,
let's go.
That's
big.
What's up. Yep.
Dude, tell me about it. Like, what are you doing, and what's the plan, or like what's the dream?
Yeah. So I guess the dream is to keep doing it full time as long as possible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's honestly, it's been super great. I've only been doing it maybe like 2 months, but like even then I took like a month sabbatical just from life and with my wife, and we just like hung out, and we just like went to Glacier National Park. I saw family down in California. And whatever, and just kind of like took those times to kind of get inspired. Yeah, because it's like, I mean, when you're doing art, like if you don't do life, like you don't create anything good. Like it's just like you got to go through something to kind of make something. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
I like that. You said if you're making art, you got to do life.
Yeah.
Like if all you're doing is working, it's hard to be inspired. I can relate to that a lot.
100%, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're super burnt out or you're just always grinding, it's like, where does the source of inspiration come from?
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
So you got to do as much fun stuff as like cool stuff you're creating, you know what I mean? Like I'm trying to find like new hobbies just to inspire me and like do things that I'm like scared to do. Like I've just picked up like skateboarding, and I've always been afraid of like dropping in on a ramp just because I'm like a sissy. So I was like, I finally just learned how to drop in on a ramp. And I was like, dude, it was the scariest thing. It took me 45 minutes to drop down that ramp.
But you got it?
But I did it. I've been skating. I've been just trying to get better at it, just so I can like learn new things. I like challenge my mind, like, and it's like stuff I'm like not naturally good at too. Because it's like it's gonna open up my mind to understanding other things, being able to problem solve creative stuff in different ways too.
Yeah. Speaking of like new avenues, do you ever see yourself, because you write music, like trying to do like vocal stuff?
Yeah.
Like actually hopping on a song.
Like me trying to sing and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I have like songs I'm like singing on and doing stuff.
Yeah.
Like hopefully the 2 next ones I'm gonna have will have my vocals.
Oh.
But
you showed me a demo though.
Yeah. So like it's heavily edited. But but it's cool. It's cool.
It's still there. It's still
you're
your
an
voice.
engineer though, so you know how to get your voice to sound good. It's a tool.
Yeah, like it's a cool cheat code. So it's like but like my voice has like never been something I'm like super like, I don't know, 100% stoked on. Like I always sing because it's something like I love doing, but it's something I've never taken the time to like craft or do. I know like it's not something I'm like in a sense naturally born with, whatever you want to say. Yeah. So I know it's like gonna take me a little bit more work, but like with producing and stuff, I can have like those cheat codes like auto-tune and editing, and I already like cool weird effects anyways. Like Mattion, his new album is just like him singing on it, and it's like the most like, this is like flanger on his voice, like it's got all these weird filters where it's like you don't even know what's going on sometimes. Like I don't even know how he produced it. I was trying to recreate it, and I'm like, this guy's a genius, because I have no idea how he created these crazy vocal tones.
What's his name?
Mattion. He's like a French producer.
How do you spell it?
Madeon.
Mattion. Oh, okay.
Mattion.
Cool.
Yeah, he's dope. He's what's like the song "All My Friends" like is like the vocal tone I'm thinking of. It's like it's so good. What's his new album called? or newer.
I can look it up right now.
Because it's really good, bro. Like that's like the vocal style where I'm like, dang, like if I could recreate something like that, man, maybe.
That's so crazy. So there's things that you guys will both hear in songs that you still have no clue how people do that, even though you do it like professionionally.
Yeah.
That's so cool though. Wait, what's the song called?
Well, that's like
All My Friends. It's off
Push Me to the Edge.
Good Faith is the album.
Good Faith is the
All
album.
My Friends.
Yeah, All My Friends.
Yeah, All My Friends. That like it's a cool album. That album actually really inspired me too, because that's like kind of the pop EDM stuff I want to do more, and then like add more. I like because I drum. I love like funk music and stuff, so I want to like add funk. I want to add, maybe more hip hop influence. I really like poppy, catchy stuff like pop punk or I don't know, just stupid catchy pop songs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to combine it all. Like all this stuff I like until I die, I'm just gonna make music that I like, no matter what it is.
That's what it's about.
So if I'm gonna sing on it, if people don't like my voice, like cool. Like that's how it goes. Like my family, they heard me growing up my whole life just singing. They're like, maybe this isn't your thing, but I'm like, hey, it's going on the track.
Yeah, let's go.
So I'm excited about it.
So you said that like you took a month off kind of from everything, from working to kind of leading into this now like new endeavor. What's kind of the transition been like to doing it full time? Like, has it been stressful or has it been like awesome or...
How was your process?
Yeah, what's the process of like your day to day now?
It's been both. It's been stressful. It's been rewarding. It's been awesome. Like it's a little bit of everything, because when I have my hand in so many different like little like pots too. Like I usually have to manage a lot of projects for people. Like it's hard to kind of keep everything like written down and recorded, whether it be everything from like when due dates are, when I need production done by, when I'm recording with people, when people are paying me, like stuff like that. Like I'm my own boss now, so I have to do everything. Like I have to keep up on everything. There's no one like getting me my money in a sense of like, I show up to a coffee shop and work every week and I can count every Friday I'm gonna get my paycheck or whatever. Like now it's like I gotta, seal these deals and make sure that like people are paying me, people like respect it and everything. Whether it be like, okay, I don't trust this person, so I'm giving them a contract or something. No offense to that, but this is like that's just security on both sides, contracts and stuff. Yeah. Or if it's like I can tell someone's like a little bit uncomfortable about something, so I'm like, okay, gotta feel that out or whatever, and like maybe we don't do a contract, maybe we just take this chill, like like I'll do something in exchange, or I don't know. It's just like a whole different like business and thing to kind of deal with, but it's been a very rewarding process at the same time too, because at the end of the day, like I go to sleep and I'm like, dang, like I just made art. And that's all I did today. I just like I clicked buttons and I made dope sounding stuff, and hopefully someone cares. But
I like that.
Well, early on in this show, Matt and I talked about, I think when we had Casman on, we were talking about, at the end of the day, almost every artist who makes music, the dream is for a lot of people just to be able to like pay the bills. Even a lot of people
just like pay the bills
and
make
pay
music.
The bills and make music. A lot of people don't really care to. I mean, it's great to get famous, but I think a lot of people just want to make art, and it's so cool that like you're kind of doing that now.
Well, because the fame is not what I'm chasing after. Like I don't want fame, bro. Like at the end of the day, like I want to have enough money to pay for like a cabin out in the woods and just hang out there with my garden. I'm kind of hippie at heart with my wife. I'm just like, let's just hang out in a cabin out in out in Issaquah or something. I don't know, like way out there.
In your garden? What do you want in your garden?
Dude, I don't know, just whatever's going on. Something to feed me. Squash. I don't know what grows out here in Washington, bro. Okay. But I don't know. It's like, like that's at the end of the day, that's all I want. I don't want fame. Like if you have to go out and like, every time you go out, people are asking you for stuff. I'm like, that's a crazy life. That's all true. I want, like, cause I mean, me and Matt even talked about this. It's like, if I could get paid minimum wage to just like click buttons and like make art, that's success for me. That is literally success. I got a roof over my head. I got to eat a couple things a day, provide for my wife. That's it. That's all I want to do. Mm-hmm. Like anything on top of that is just like, that's great. I'm blessed. Oh yeah, 100%. Like that's all I want. Is just the bare minimum, like of just life.
Yeah,
that's so sick. Yeah.
Now, would you go on like tour if you just blow up and they want? How do I say your last name?
Legat.
Legat?
Okay. Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
Okay.
Don't ask. Okay. So it's spelled weird. But.
Okay. So if you just blow up, and would you go on like a nationwide tour and perform at like festivals and stuff? Or would that be like too much?
I think so. I think I would try it out. Why not? I'm down. Like at this point in my life, I'm kind of down to try anything. Like if people are like, hey, like we can guarantee like US wide tour, I'd be like, heck yeah. I would just call up my friends and be like, hey, you want to go on a tour and just play these songs live? Like I thought about that. I think it'd be fun. Yeah. I don't know if I'd want to be like my bread and butter. Like okay, like I always got to tour. I always got to do this stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like for me, I'm like I don't always want to be on the road. Like I said, I want to be out like hanging out at my cabin and
yeah
or whatever. But I think if someone came to me, and they're like, yeah, like your stuff's blowing up. Like would you want to do this? I'd be like, oh sure.
Yeah.
Why not?
Dope, yeah.
There's a song by J. Cole where he's explaining that like, a lot of artists nowadays, you got to be touring like every year, like all the time if you want to like keep up.
Yeah.
And that, I don't know, that just seems like a scary and like exhausting lane to get trapped in where you feel like you got to tour in order to like
touring sounds awesome, but like if you were just constantly touring, like I don't want my life to be constantly anything really.
Yeah. I love traveling, but if you're traveling is like in the sense of literally just like in a car or like in a plane all the time, it's like what are you really seeing? Like I want to see the city, I want to see the people, I want to see what the locals are actually doing when I go to towns and stuff. So I'd much rather live like that. But it sounds like these people kind of just go in, they'll like play a stadium, they'll go to like a cool bar or club afterwards, and then they just like go on a plane to somewhere else. So I'm like, dang, that's like that sounds exhausting, bro. Like when do I get to sleep? Like I like to take naps too during the day. So
yeah, man. So like you started as a drummer, right? Is that kind of how you first got into
musically
music?
just at the start of life?
yeah, that's kind of.
And now like do you still play the drums for like gigs and stuff, or is drumming kind of more just like a tool you'll use for the other things you're doing now?
Like I still drum pretty frequently. I like playing drums live a lot, but like I learned I really like kind of the more like studio side of stuff. Like playing live, there's nothing like it. Like it's so cool. Like, because I'll play drums with Convent Bonfires when they play shows. Just because like they're my bros, they're my dudes, and I did the drums on the album, so it just makes sense that they're like, yeah, we don't want someone to have to like learn all the drums again. Can you just like play it? I'm like, sure. So like there's nothing like the feeling like when we've played live and we played like their big song, it's called Road Trip, and like they just like the whole crowd just goes and they just like start singing the little like melody, ba, ba, da, ba. People just start going. I'm like, dang, it feels crazy. Like it feels wow. So that feeling's really cool because you don't get that in the studio. Usually you're just like vibing with yourself, and then you try to show someone like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like so I still drum like pretty frequently. I mean I drum like on projects all the time and stuff. So.
Where are these what's that band called that you were just talking about?
Convent Bonfires.
Yeah. Where were those live shows at?
We played in Seattle like a bunch, and we played quite a few shows in Seattle.
That's so awesome, dude. That's just so cool, like having fans that actually like know the songs. I don't know, just as any weird. Artist, when you get to a point where like you
people
go
really
and it's
singing along,
it's people they other than your immediate friends that know your songs.
Yeah,
dude, it's crazy because I've played like I've played like tons of cover songs, and it's cool when people sing along to like songs that are like covers or whatever. But it's a song that you like helped write. You helped with the lyrics. You helped like write everything, and then people are singing it and they're enjoying it. You're like, this is weird, bro. Like, why are you jamming to this? Like, but I'm like, it slaps. So maybe that's why we're jamming.
Yeah, man. Do you guys know who Matt Mason is? No. Okay. He I don't know how to describe his music, quite honestly, but it's not important. I went to his concert in Seattle last year, and the opener, like he's sort of small, so his opener was clearly like kind of like an unknown band.
Yeah.
And they were from Kentucky, and they were like literally like unknown. I think they had like less than 1,000 monthly listeners on Spotify or whatever. And but they like flew all the way out to Seattle from Kentucky just for this opportunity, and like no one in the place knew their songs, but just like the energy that I got from that band was amazing, because you could just tell they're like so hungry for it, and they're all like committed, and they were all like, I don't know, probably 20 to 23 years old, like young and hungry, and there's just a certain energy you get from these indie bands that I feel like you don't get anywhere else.
So that's what Convent is. That's why I think it's so fun, and why I continue to play with them, is because that energy is unmatched, bro. Like it's crazy. You don't know what's gonna go on up there, because it's not like, I mean, you never know. I'm gonna break a drumstick and something crazy happens. Someone breaks a string. I mean, Caleb and Kyle, they play like they're guitar is really heavy, so they'll break strings all the time.
Yeah,
it's crazy. Like you don't know what the energy is gonna be that night. It's different every time we play it.
That's funny.
So.
Fun fact: first time I ever rapped live, you drummed at
Yeah.
Timberlake. Yeah,
Yeah, I remember that. That was
cool.
I didn't realize that was your first time because you killed it.
First
you just
time
came
ever,
up on stage, and I was like, "What the heck? There's this guy up. Oh, he's rapping! Oh my god!"
Oh, you didn't even know it was happening? Like you were just up.
I didn't understand it was happening because
Okay.
I think he came up in like rehearsal, and I was like, "Oh, that's dope." And then I just thought like maybe like that was it. But then he came up like during the service, and I was like, "Oh,
because they wanted it to be like a surprise thing, because it was for a song that we perform at our church, and it's like obviously it's not very often someone comes up and like raps. So like I was in the crowd, and they gave me a mic and had me like walk up.
Yeah,
but yeah, that
what
was like
song? What
3
song
years
did you
ago?
perform?
To be honest, I don't really remember. It was either I think
This Is
Real
Living
Love.
one. It was that one with the Hillsong Young and Free with the Lecrae.
Yeah, that was one.
It was crazy. I remember that.
So there's like a rap feature on it that
They
you
had
did?
me for that one. They let me write a verse. I've performed that one like someone else's rap before, but the first time I did it, I remember Blake sent me the song was like write a verse, like you'll just rap over the part where there is another verse. But yeah.
Shout out Blake Carpenter. Love
Yeah. So wait, so you performed the drums for Matt as like without even knowing that he was coming up? You just kind of
Well, we were playing like the song, like it was like
just kind of
it was like a cover of like a song,
yeah,
right?
But you just didn't know there was going to be a rapper that like.
I thought like he came up during rehearsals. I thought it was just for fun. Like I didn't know what was going on. Like
really?
Okay. I didn't understand. Nobody told me anything. I'm just drumming the songs.
Well,
and
right,
just, like,
and you were like you don't always play at Timberlake, so it's like you're not as like in touch with whatever's going on.
Yeah, so no one tells me anything. I just show up. I just know the songs, and I'm like, dang, bro, this guy's rapping right now.
That's funny, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you ever I always wonder, this is my first time ever talking to like or interviewing a drummer really.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe this is a dumb question, but
Go ahead.
do you ever feel like you don't get enough credit being a drummer? Does that ever bother you? I feel like I don't make music, so maybe this isn't a thing that drummers feel.
I know what
but
you mean.
I would feel like as a drummer, you're often overlooked in any sort of band setting. It's like people care about the singer, obviously, gets the most notoriety, and then like the guitarist. But I feel like the drummer's like in the back.
You're kind of on your own thing, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know.
But they're really driving the song.
Yeah,
like
they play a huge role.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. So it's this weird like catch-22 because there's tons of drummer jokes, right? Where it's like, you know, drummers always late. They're always, I don't know, like this, you know, there's just like in the band world, like they always like rag on drummers and stuff. Because I think you're right. Like what's weird about drums is that because people always tell me the same joke too. Like when people are like changing keys of like a song, they're like, oh, you better like tune your drums, like to the like, you know, like you have to retune a guitar or something. And I'm like, hey, like it's like an old man joke. But basically, because it's like with a bass, you know, guitar, piano, whatever, they all have to be in key. They have to be playing the same thing. They got to be synced. And like for me, like I have to be synced with them, but just rhythmically. I'm not playing anything melodically with them. So again, that's why I kind of started writing my own songs. Was just because like you kind of feel not left out because you're doing a ton for the song. Honestly, you have a backbone. If you mess up, like technically everyone's gonna mess up, right? Like they'll feel it. Like you're the one person who is not allowed to screw up. You have to keep doing what you're doing. Like if you miss a note on guitar, you can just like, there's a joke too where you just like you play the same note twice and then it's jazz. Like, you know, like people are like it's in the wrong like scale or something. But yeah, as a drummer, I feel like you can get some like slack and stuff for that. But I mean, it's kind of more fun to be like the underdog in some ways. And then like there's people like Anderson .Paak, you know, he's bringing like the drums to the front, you know what I mean, in a sense where it's like you can do more than like one thing. Like from there, like in the past, like when I play for like worship teams or whatever, like I'll be playing drums and I'll be like directing the band in their ears or whatever, so I'll have like a mic too, and it's like it's hard because you're like doing you're directing and you're playing drums, but like it's doable.
So how's that work? Explain it to me, like directing when you're drumming, like
so
what
like
exactly, like
if we're doing something on the fly, like I'm calling it, so they're like, okay, we're gonna do this like chorus part again or whatever. Like I have a mic and I have like I'll have like a little switch. I'll hit the switch to turn on the mic, you know, with my other foot. I'll lean over to it.
With like worship songs, is that more like you're kind of feeling the vibe of just like the whole situation? You're like, all right,
Sometimes.
we need to keep this going. Like like certain songs.
It really depends because it's like worship in church world's always different. If they play with like tracks and stuff, it's kind of harder. If they don't have the setup, you can't just be like, do the chorus again, and then it like goes to the bridge part and it's like musically not lined up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then if you're just like playing like just as a band, that's for instance like I'll have like the talk back on, they call it TB or whatever. and I'll just like lean over and kind of direct the band, like, okay, we're going to this part next or whatever.
Okay.
I'll be like, I'll be building, I'll play in a part. I'm like, okay, we're gonna do this part. Okay, you play that lead line. You know, I'm like kind of like directing at the same time as I'm playing.
Yeah.
So like it's possible to do like, you know, lead singer stuff like Anderson .Paak from the drums or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, so there's people who are making it like cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that is cool. I think that, I don't know. I just, that's cool. Cause I always view it as like, if I was a drummer, I feel like people wouldn't like think that I was as talented as I am, you know? Like, I feel like there's a lot of drummers where people just like kind of overlook them, and I kind of feel bad because like the drummer's a big deal.
Well, because it's like, right? But it's like a little bit harder, like, because like anybody can just sit down and kind of like play a beat on a drum set, right? But it's way harder for people just to sit down and like play like a guitar chord or like play something like that, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's why people kind of get that like slack, because it's kind of easier to play something decent in the drumming world. I can just tap right now like a beat. You could tap the same beat, you know what I mean? But like, you know,
what really sets it apart though is
the quality, right? And like kind of that rhythm, that extra feel, being able to play to the music, being able to play different styles of music, knowing like your basic rudiments and stuff. Like drum world is like, yeah, people can, once they get like really professional about like drum stuff, they can get like pretty sticklery. It's pretty cool. I had a guy get super mad at me because I didn't know like Slingerland drums one time. Or
what's that?
Slingerman. It's just like this old, I don't even know the name. I'm gonna like butcher this. I was playing at this like festival or whatever, this Christian festival. This guy gets like so mad at me because he was talking like vintage drums, and I didn't know the drum brand. He's like, "Oh, how are you even drumming?" Like he was like legit like calling me out like in front of like all these other like big Christian artists and stuff, and I was like, dang, bro, like what,
bro?
That's like
this is not
rap,
Christ.
if you were like, oh, I don't know who Tupac is, it's like it's the same thing where it's like, wait, you didn't listen to Nas growing up, like they'll like but it's like
how am I supposed to know all this stuff? Like, you know, I'm just trying to figure out and remember all the new stuff that's coming out. I gotta do all my history research too. Like I don't know everything about these drums. So anyways, but that's how it goes. Like drummers can get pretty, like once they get more in like the rudiment professional world, they'll get like, you know, they can be pretty sticklery or whatever you want to call it.
So that's interesting. So you said you think drumming is like easier to be like good at than other instruments, but harder to be like great at. Is that accurate? Would you say?
That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I know so many people who can drum. Like, you know, basically at some point, if you're a musician, you can drum. Like if you know guitar, you have to know rhythm. So you can be able to, you know, you just have to use your ligaments instead of your fingers, right?
Yeah.
But like as a drummer, I can't just like drum and then hop onto a guitar. I gotta know scales and stuff like that. But like, yeah, what really sets you apart is being great. And I can spot a drummer who's like, I mean, no offense, like from good to great, like someone who's actually like put in the time and like knows how to play stuff, can like just hop on and like jam right away or whatever.
How quick can you tell? Like like within seconds, do you think?
Yeah, it's usually with like feel. Like I can see how people like and what's so funny is I love it because I'll have some people like sit in like really weird positions and like they'll like hold the drumsticks really weird. I'm like, this person's gonna suck. Like they're just like not they ain't got the technique. And then they just shred. They're better than me, and I'm like, oh.
They just kind of have their own thing,
Yeah, so sometimes people surprise me. But for the most part, once they start playing, like after like a few seconds, like if like they don't have the feel, like you kind of know. Like it's like, but like I don't know how to explain it. Like one day it just like kind of clicks because I sucked for so long. Like I've been playing drums since I was like 8, and like I sucked probably until like the last year.
Yeah, that's funny. So like if you watch a movie, can you do you ever catch like a drummer in a movie and you're just like, that is so wrong?
Yeah.
What about
all
like
the time.
The movie Whiplash? Have you seen that?
I haven't seen it. I've seen like a scene from it because everyone always tells me, you gotta watch it as a drummer. And I'm like, this sounds like my worst nightmare. Why would I want to watch that? Like some guy who tortures a drummer. Like literally I would have nightmares for nights.
Basically,
right?
that's
Why would it's like a rap movie and they're like making him rap for like, you know, 24 hours straight or something, you know, like, it's torture, bro.
Like
why would I watch this?
Literally torture.
But like, I from what I've seen of those, like, I'm like, dang, he looks like he's actually playing. And I don't know I haven't done my research on the film. Maybe he actually had to learn how to do drums or something. But
I think he actually did learn how. But
that's impressive.
I bet there's a lot of movies where you watch and you're just like, nope.
Dude, every Disney Channel thing, I'm like, what are they doing? Like, what? They're not even hitting anything.
Yeah, that's like when they play sports in movies. Like, if you played that sport, you can always recognize, like, it just looks off. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah, that's just how it is.
That's funny. So you've been doing music full time for a couple months now. Mm-hmm. You mixed Not Alone's new album that just came out a couple weeks ago. You guys should definitely go listen to it.
I wanted to say this. I noticed because they had a couple singles out, and then you guys mixed them again. I just wanted to say, whatever you did on like the kick and bass on Angela is fire.
Thank you.
Oh, so you remixed them?
Not yeah. Like mixed them, not like a remix, but you
mixed them again.
Yeah.
So they were out as singles, and then you changed them a little bit before the album came
just
out.
to fit more cohesively.
Talk You Down, I actually didn't do a whole lot on it. I gotta come out and be clean about that one.
Okay.
Talk You Down, because I mixed some stuff, but they were like, we don't know about that, so they ended up just using the original like mix, and I just mastered that one. I gotta be honest, I gotta come clean. But yeah, Angela, I just kind of like redid everything, like no offense to them, but like it was just like somewhere I was like, oh, I'm just gonna like redo this.
Well, I know with Talk You Down, they said
liked it.
that they like hired an engineer back when they put it out to mix it for them, and then like with Angela, they did that themselves. So like, but yeah, I just thought it was cool because it was like it just had a different tone to it that I really liked.
Thanks, bro. Yeah, so I was trying to make it more cohesive with the album.
Yeah,
and stuff, because it's like that's my least favorite things when I hear albums. I'm like, I can tell these are just like pieced together from different like times. Like time frames, and maybe even different people working on them.
Right.
So I told him like, even if like, okay, so if you want to do this like Talk You Down thing, like I gotta master it all together so it like actually sounds like uniform.
Well,
like it's like one project.
Mastering, yeah, because it's like I don't know. I hate when, especially if I'm working on my own music and I play it back to back. It's just the levels of they're different. It's just it's very noticeable.
You shouldn't have to be like, okay, so like if you're like turning it up and down like every time, like different songs, like that's like weird. But then there's also like, if the album's good, you want to keep turning it up, right? But but yeah, if you're like fluctuating levels all the time, like it's gonna be weird. Or even like tonality, like all of a sudden you're like, wait, why does this next song like sound like the guitar sound like totally different, like super like tinny or something? You're like, I don't understand. Yeah. Like so that's why it's got to be like super uniform with albums and stuff. Like it can be a lot to manage.
For sure. Yeah.
How much thought goes into the order of songs in albums? This is like my first time really ever thinking about that, but
like track listing.
Yeah.
I've heard a couple different like approaches. Like, I mean, usually it's like if it's an album that you wrote specifically with like the songs have like stories, usually like I feel like that'll dictate how you want to do it. But also a lot of people I know have talked about the approach of like just literally checking what key is this song in. Okay, like what keys is like a line up, and so like it kind of musically, like sonically makes more sense on the transitions.
Totally.
When I put out my mixtape like last Christmas or whatever, I did it. I kind of like had an idea when I was making the songs of like, all right, this is going to be the intro. This is going to be this. But I don't know. I just feel like when I listen to songs, I can like describe it with a mood. And I feel like that kind of tells a story for me. But
yeah,
how
like
would
it's
you
a
go
vibe
about
to the album, right?
Yeah, the vibe. Yeah.
No, I feel that. It's different from like project to project to genre, right? Like again, going back to like my punk days, one of my favorite like albums is The Suffering and the Witness from Rise Against. I don't know if anyone's heard that. It's old. It's like 2006 or something like that. But dude, like how they have their track list set up to where it's like seamless, like it never stops. Like there's this one song where the guitar goes like, it just goes straight into the next song, like perfect. Yeah, you're like, whoa, bro! Like I remember being like a little kid, being like, holy crap, they like this is a different song, but somehow it sounds the same.
I
like,
love that though. Yeah.
So we kind of did that. That's why I inspired like I wanted like Not Alone to have stuff like that. So they're like, yeah, let's do it. So then they added like we added some cool Rain stuff to like the interlude, and so like the interlude goes into like Superman on that album like seamlessly. Right. I was like, bro, like how dope would that be? Like I love it when it's just like an album is like an art piece and it's like continuous, like one movie you're supposed to like listen to.
Yeah.
When you listen to singles, that's cool. But then it's like when you got an album, like a masterpiece, you're like, dang, this all flows together. It's all seamless. It's all a vibe. Like Not Alone crushed it with that, you know?
Yeah.
Bro, it blows my mind that there's people that will check out a new album and they'll hit shuffle. Or they'll like
those people. Oh my
like that's just the casual music
it's the
listener.
cardinal sin.
But imagine like going to a movie theater and like, all right, let's watch the middle. Let's watch the
I remember
end.
DVDs back in the day when you go to Scene Select and you're like, let's just watch chapter 13.
Yeah.
Let's just watch chapter 2. You're like, what
you've
the
never
heck?
seen before. You're like, oh, this looks like an action scene. Let's watch that.
Dude, you got me here, bro. You messed with me. That made me upset.
I never realized how crazy that was. Like, I know it's like kind of like a cardinal sin, but when you gave that movie analogy, I never realized that's actually kind of what it's like.
Make sense.
100%.
That's how crazy it is.
It was intended to be listened in this order and like in this kind of environment and stuff like that. So actually, my two older brothers and my dad, we all have like this listening group. We choose like an album a week to listen to. We all review it and do our thoughts.
Dude, that's awesome.
Super fun.
That's so cool.
And all of us, we're all raised by like the same dad. We all got like completely different music tastes.
Gotcha.
I'm in like EDM and stuff. My brother like plays guitar, so he's all about like Seattle grunge or like reggae and like guitar driven music. My brother likes hip hop, like a huge hip hop head, like loves the super conscious rap. My dad like only listens to Boston, like old classic rock. So we got different stuff all the time. And the album of the week that my brother chose last week was this band called May. They're like it's like an old 2005 album too, but it's like this alternative rock band. And their name stands for Multi-Sensory Aesthetic Experiment.
Sensory? I thought it was May.
Yeah, multi-sensory is like one word, like a dash or something.
Oh,
I don't know,
okay.
they cheated.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, MAE, sorry. But anyways, they like literally create like back when people got CDs, and their CD for this album is supposed to have like a booklet. Like you're literally supposed to go through a book with it too, and like listen to it, and you can like hear on the album like when pages are like it's like when you hear the sound, like that's the intro of the album. It's like telling you like open up your booklet. Like
Dude,
it is so
fire.
cool.
Yeah,
and my brother said like at their concerts they have like scratch and sniff tickets. Like they'll like you'll scratch and you like smell at certain parts of the concert. I was like, what the heck? That's like super like immersive.
That's beyond like merchandise. Like I love when when people put out an album and they really get the fans involved that way.
Yeah.
It's the coolest thing. So I love like how albums like have so much intention like that. And you don't really get to hear too much stuff like that these days. That's why I really appreciate it when someone like really thinks through an album and they're like really like going with a certain vibe, a certain feel. Like I mean, even the Harry Styles album was like something like that. Like that was like I was like, whoa, like that's a vibe. Like you just throw that on when you're driving, you know? Oh
right.
man.
Yeah. Well, you guys, if you've listened to an album like 30 times, then will you guys ever shuffle an album?
Yeah, I still prefer to listen to I don't make playlists. I literally don't have playlists on my phone. I literally just
pick an
will
album.
go through my recents and listen to singles. Like I literally don't have playlists.
Interesting.
Bold move.
And then I'll go through albums and like I'll be like, all right, I want to listen to these couple songs and I'll line them up in like the order or whatever. But like I don't know. I don't really like making playlists and just shuffling like random songs because I get sick of those songs so quick.
Yeah. So relating to like listening to albums start to finish and in order, one of my favorite artists, Mike Posner.
That dude.
You know him?
Oh, dude, yeah. He had that one song with Ty Dolla $ign that I was like, oh,
yeah.
And he went crazy, and he's like walking across the country, and
yeah, dude, he walked. So it's
we reviewed that album.
Yeah, so we did an album review on that. It's called Keep Going, and
what an appropriate title.
Yeah. So the intro to that album, the first. It's not. I mean, I guess it's a song, but it's him just kind of talking. It's just called Introduction. But he basically says. Like, hi, welcome to my album. This album is intended to be listened to start to finish in order. And if you can't listen to it, if you don't have an hour or whatever to dedicate to it, please come back later. Like, please don't listen to it and come back when you can.
That's why it took me like a month to listen to Big Sean's new album because I'm like, I like Big Sean and I want to listen to this the right way. I don't want to just like listen to a few songs on my phone while I'm doing something. I want to like listen to it appropriately.
Yeah.
Because I really liked his last one.
Dude, right? Yeah. So it's like that was so good. Like I want to be able to experience it front to back and not be spoiled by like, interrupted. Like, like if you're watching a movie and then you like watch it like 2 days later, it's like, well, you forget stuff and what's going on, how it's tied together. And so like I had a long drive, so I just listened to Detroit too.
Gotcha.
And I was like, dang, this fire.
It's so good.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you guys have a go-to place or thing you like to do when you listen to music?
Like if a new album drops, like what's your
go-to how do you guys
listen?
like to consume new music?
I've been thinking about this a lot recently because I have like monitors, so like I like to listen in my room, but usually drops at like 9 and I'm not really trying to like bump music super loud with like my family and stuff and like keep everyone up. So sometimes I'll just go drive in my car and I kind of like my system and I know like I've gotten used to like checking mixes in it, so I can kind of tell when like a song's mixed well in my car. But so like I like driving and listening to stuff, but I don't know. I don't really have like a go-to setup for like new songs. What do you do? And if like your favorite band just dropped an album?
I just know I have to listen to it like front to back.
Yeah.
And so I'll just try to find some kind of time frame where I can do that.
Yeah.
Usually it's driving. Sometimes I'll go for a walk. Like I like to now that I'm doing like full time, like if I'm at a screen for like 8 hours a day, like I go crazy. I'll literally go outside and I'll be like, whoa, and it won't feel like real life. I don't even know how to explain it. It's like I'm on drugs. Like it feels so weird. I go outside, I have fresh air, and I'm like, whoa,
vitamin D.
For real. I was like, what the heck, bro? And so I'll go on a walk, just pop in some headphones and try to listen to it, front to back. Just so I can capture the full experience of what they're trying to communicate,
Bro, I got so many like memories of like listening to certain things for the first time. Like, and now like anytime I listen to it, I always think of like that moment of hearing it for the first time and like, I don't know, like the way it made me feel and stuff like that.
Well, funny story. You'll actually like this. I vividly remember what I was doing when you dropped your Christmas mixtape.
Oh, really?
You're like, yo, it's out. And you sent me a link right when it came out. And I had heard a couple of the songs, but I wanted to listen to the whole thing.
Yeah.
But I was like, you know what? So I was on my way to the gym. Okay. So I was driving to Redmond from here. So it's like a 15-minute drive. So like a few of the songs. And then I get there and I sat in my car for another like 40 minutes to finish the album because I was like, I just got to listen to it all right now.
Let's go.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
That's sick.
Isn't there kind of another cardinal sin, or don't like people hate when people listen to songs through their phone speaker because it just ruins all of like the intricacies of like the mix or like the producing?
I think some people are like that, but I kind of like when I'm mixing, like I take the phone speaker into account like low key more than anything because I know that that's how most people are going to hear it for the first time.
Yeah.
So like I want them to listen on better sound system than that, but like I know that most people are going to hear my song first from their iPhone on like Instagram from like a little snippet.
Yeah.
So like I heavily think about that when I'm mixing. But obviously I would be upset if like someone only listened to my song once on their iPhone and then never did it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd be upset. I think I'd be upset if like someone only listened to it on their phone, like like they got the Instagram snippet and they listen to it and then they comment, "This sucks," like
right,
or "This sounds bad," or "This is mixed bad." I'd be like, you don't know what you're talking about if you're just like telling me that off like phone speakers. Or maybe they are a professional mix engineer and they know how it's going to translate from phone speakers to actual speakers or something. Yeah. To me, I'm not mad if people can consume it on whatever they want.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not mad if someone doesn't like my music, but like I agree with what you said. Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's just like, listen to it where you want to listen to it. Like I intended for it, I mixed it on like, some nice speakers, but I don't know everyone has those. So it's like, do what you got.
Yeah.
Just please support me. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, that's the thing is like as a fan of music, I usually listen with like AirPods or like through my phone speaker, which I feel like 90% of people do. Yeah. I mean, obviously I edit like all day, like videos, so I'll have headphones like these on, which are pretty good. But I've seen tweets from artists that are like, there's no worse feeling than dropping a project and like your family is like playing it through their phone. Like you walk out in the kitchen, they're playing your new song on their phone. It's like, that's not the full experience to them. And I don't know if that's...
To be honest, I'm just more awkward about my family listening to my music. but
like, I guess, so what you're saying, we can relate it back to like visual art. So if you're going to the movies, that's an experience. There's some things I want to see in the movies, right?
Yeah.
Like this sounds stupid, but you remember Pacific Rim where there's just the giant robots and the monsters? I'm like, I'm not going to watch that on like some like flight, you know what I mean? Or like on some like tiny mobile screen. Well, I want to see that in the theater with the surround sound, the craziness going on.
Yeah, no, that's totally true.
So it kind of really depends, like how you want to experience it, right? Like what you want to say for that.
On the movie thing, like a lot of movies they'll film with like IMAX cameras, and then it's like you'll see 6 months later someone watching it on their iPhone. And it's like that's not the same thing.
You get the little message before it's like converted for your screen or whatever. I don't know what it says.
Yeah, and that's such a good comparison. I never really thought about that. But if you go see a Christopher Nolan movie, like Tenet is out right now.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be watching that on my phone.
Yeah, but like people who aren't really into the art community or just into film and cinema and music, like there's so many things that just get ruined, and like you still get the same storyline, you still get the same sounds and everything, but it's like
you're not as immersed like in, like it doesn't make you feel like you're there.
Yeah,
and that's like the goal, I feel like, when you're trying to create art.
I think you guys might find this interesting. I was reading an article about so his Christopher Nolan's new movie called Tenet, it's out right now, and apparently a lot of reviews were like kind of bad, and people were saying like the sound mixing is so terrible in this movie that like there's so many scenes where the dialogue is way too quiet and you hear like trains buzzing by and it's like hard to hear people. But apparently this was all done intentionally. Like and it all, from my understanding, this was his. I guess you have to see the movie to understand the vibe, but
it sounds really complicated.
It's a complicated movie, but from my understanding, it was always his intention for like these sounds to be overpowering in certain situations. And I don't know, you guys being so into audio, I feel like it'd be interesting for you guys.
Yeah. I definitely need to see it to like understand that. But at the same time, like I saw a lot of people, like one of my friends, she writes like movie reviews all the time, and she was saying that it's like supposed to be like they think Christopher Nolan kind of went off the deep end with like fake deep creativity.
Oh, like he's like, kind of trying to be
like this is really innovative, but it's like not.
Yeah,
but that's what
like not good.
Just to go off that's what kind of art is, right? We're talking about this deconstructed art where everybody like is used to seeing such like produced, really cool sounding stuff, really cool looking stuff. People are like, okay, let's just see some more like raw, real stuff again. So people are literally like making dope stuff, then shredding it up, and then putting it back out. You know what I mean? Like kind of intentionally making stuff bad. And people are like, that's new. It's like, not really, but
yeah. Well,
Lo-fi.
So
graphic design does that all the time right now.
What do you mean exactly? So you're saying there's kind of this new
it's kind of in every
era.
genre. It's like how distortion kind of affected hip hop. It's like distorting is not like like a good thing, but it's now used as like a tool to like bring a new texture to music. And like lo-fi is like not like lo-fi literally means low fidelity. Yeah, like it's not supposed to be like high quality.
Yeah,
but it's like a new texture. I don't even know what
but people vibe with it because they're like, dang, this is different. Like, this is cool. It's not what I hear everywhere because everything is so polished. So you go listen to like some lo-fi beats and it's all like crackly with the vinyl. Like, oh, what's that sound? It's like that's how music sounded before when we couldn't create such good stuff, you know?
Yeah, that's so interesting.
So I think what you're saying about the Christopher Nolan stuff is like right. How like maybe he's just like being like fake. He's just like maybe not going all the way with the art. He's like, no, we could pass it off as like artsy.
I haven't seen it, so like I don't know if that's the case. But and I love Christopher Nolan, but like I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah.
I hate it. It's on the tip of my tongue. What's the phrase when someone is trying to be like overly artsy for the sake of
try hard? No, I'm kidding.
I know what you mean.
When I'm editing this, I'll remember it. But there's a term where it's like, oh, you're just trying to be like, it's not extra, but like
it's over the top. It's like not
like people are criticized because it's like you're trying to be artsy for the sake of being artsy. And
a lot of artists I've seen get like I know Logic.
I don't know what the word is.
Everybody, like a lot of people are criticizing him for, they're like, you're just trying to make a really deep album, but it's like you don't really have a whole lot to say.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, what you were saying about how like people like this rawness and like kind of going back to, it goes in cycles. Like we go in these phases of wanting to go back to something that's like in a way worse. Mm-hmm. I've noticed that with
but the humanistic side of it, right?
Yeah,
like with vintage clothing.
It's like exactly what we talked about with Hobo Johnson.
Yeah. With Hobo Johnson, it's and with like music videos, a lot of times I like the ones that are like almost like filmed worse.
No, I love on a VHS camera.
The VHS camera or like an iPhone or like a really crappy video. It almost is way better than if I see something with like a cinema camera.
If it's done right, obviously.
Yeah, if it's done right.
If it has to be done right, or else.
Yeah. I don't know. That's so interesting. What is your... we asked you this at the beginning, but like if someone asks you...
like what the hell do you do?
What do you say? Like what's the one word like label would you give yourself?
Like if some random person at the grocery store asked you and you're like, I don't really feel like explaining, like what kind of answer would you give?
That's how much time you got. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. I don't think I've come up with a witty comment for that yet, but I'll hopefully do that one day.
Okay.
I think I just tell people like, just produce art.
So people think you're a producer.
You are. Yeah.
It is vague enough for people like, so you must do something. I'm like, yeah.
Well, producer can be like a very like overlapping term for all the things you do. So it's not incorrect by any means.
Exactly. It just like encompasses parts like what I do. So that's why I just kind of like tell people like, I kind of do like creative media. I'm a producer in creative media because I'll do everything from like, writing songs, producing songs, playing instruments, doing like visual art stuff. Like I do like graphic design and whatever, and whatever else. I just like creating cool stuff. That's why my saying like I mean is make waves, because it's just like I just want to make waves. Whether it's like we got the whole spectrum of the electromagnetic waves that go on from like color to sound and stuff like that to get super scientific. Where it's just like it's all just waves. So if you know how to create and manipulate waves, like you'll be good at it in one form or another, whether it's visually or audio.
Yeah.
That's actually really cool. I never thought about that. Everything is just waves.
Everything's waves.
Everything's
bro.
waves. Life's coming waves, bro. Like, you're just vibing. I was just talking about how I get depressed about every 10 days. But, like, life comes in those waves, you know what I mean? And everybody's just trying to, ride a wave, hang out.
It's true.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds very hippie, but, like, make waves. That's what
Yeah.
God told me to do, so I'll just keep doing it.
Yeah, I love
That's
that.
dope.
I saw this. It was on Reddit, but it was basically saying like what's weird about a video is if you take any single frame of like a video or anything at all, like on a screen, you could theoretically type out a series of zeros and ones. So you could type out a series of like millions of code, and you could recreate that exact image on the screen just by typing zeros and ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the same way with any sort of music or any audio. Like if you could, hypothetically, if you could just recreate these sound waves, you could create
there's ways to do it. So there's software, because my friend Austin Smith, shout out Austin Smith, he's a guy who shot the When Do I cover art. He's a great photographer and stuff, super dope. I mean, he does tons of stuff, fashion, dude. I love that guy, one of my best friends. And he literally found this program that basically you convert, like you get the picture, you convert it into some kind of audio, and you convert that audio back with some kind of like effect on it, and it comes into this new visual like thing. So he's got it somewhere. I'll have to ask him where he found it.
Wait.
That sounds so trippy.
Can you re-explain
I
that?
have no clue what that means.
So like the information from like the light waves or something like that, like go into an audio form, and he like will mess with the audio. Like it literally just sounds like it doesn't really sound like it. It's awful, just like noise. And then he'll like put like delay and like reverb on it, and he'll pass it back in. And it's this whole process he was telling me about. I didn't fully understand it. And he'll pass it back in, and then the image will come back up, and we'll have like a delay of like certain parts of the picture, like a delay, like literally like a repeat of like certain images.
It's
and
almost
stuff.
like a, I don't know, this is not the right word like for graphic design, but it's like a gradient almost of like it kind of fades. I don't know how to
kind of,
describe
just
it.
like it chops up like different like information from that, and it's like just we'll like sporadically put it out. Like you can, whether it be like reverb or something, or like a chorus, or like delay, or like distortion, we'll make it like look fuzzier and stuff like that. It's crazy. Like it's man, it's all waves, right?
Yeah.
It's art.
Wow, that's awesome, man.
That's trippy.
Well, I think this is a good
That blew my
place
mind.
to wrap things up.
All right.
I mean, this is I don't know. It's all waves, man.
It's all waves,
It came
bro.
full circle. It's all waves.
That's why I got the nickname Wave Master Cade.
That's it.
Yeah.
Oh, isn't that your name on Instagram?
Yeah, I had my
Yeah.
friends just they started calling me Wave Master. I was like, why you guys call me that? Like, cause dude, you make the waves great, bro. I was like, thanks, man. And so they call me Wave Master Cade now, and I was like, I like that, bro.
That's actually such a cool
fire.
name, Wave Master.
Wave Master Cade.
I feel like that's the name of like kind of like a chief or like the leader in a group. It's like, that's our Wave Master.
Yeah.
Wave master.
Exactly, a cult. or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, like the leader of a cult or something.
Everybody's like, what? A cult? What am I watching?
Yeah. But this was super fun, guys. Cade, thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me, bro.
Well, we have to have you on
Honored.
again soon.
Heck yeah, bro.
Do you have any
Always down to talk.
music being released? Any music you've worked on or any of your own that you have any expected release date in the near future, or is
Anything
it all
you want to plug?
anything you want to
Anything
plug
I
or,
wanna
or not yet?
plug? I got a few things. So I'm working with this rapper from Vegas named Lowry. He's amazing. We got some heat dropping. I mean, I can't even fully say what it is because I'm not allowed to talk about some of it. We got one single coming out called Way Out that's coming out October 23rd, I think. That's super exciting. And then another single after that, I think it's going to be I can't remember if it's November or like later on. That's the one I can't talk about, but it's going to be big, so don't watch out for that.
Right,
Watch Lowry. He's really great. He's amazing.
Lowry?
Lowry. I've spelled his name wrong for like 4 years, and I just learned it again. So, that's great. I got some singles like hopefully coming out. I want to do it before the end of the year. We'll see. We'll see if production wraps up, but then I'm waiting on a few people.
Okay.
With those collabs, it's how it goes and stuff.
So people can just search your name, Cade
Legat.
Legat,
Mhm.
Legat.
Mm-hmm. Like, where's my leg
On
at?
everything. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, on everything. I'll show up. I think I'm the only Cade Legat out there. I don't think I haven't heard of another one yet.
Cool.
So
What's your Instagram at?
just at Cade Legat.
Cade Legat. Okay, cool. Awesome. Well, yeah, man, this was fun. I'm excited. Guys, go stream. Your song is called When Can I?
When do I?
When do I? When can I too, though? I mean,
When
stream it,
when
bro.
do I?
Yeah.
Cool. Well, Matt, where can they follow you?
You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at @TheMattMog, and make sure to follow the podcast at NAS Podcast.
Yeah. Also, leave a review of our show on the Apple Podcast app. You know, even if you like to listen on YouTube, where we have full video versions of every episode, or if you're on, Spotify or whatever, you guys should just go leave a review if you have an iPhone, because it helps us out, and we're trying to hit 50 reviews.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, there's new episodes every single Monday. You guys can follow me at Hey Narwhal on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace out.